Coming into the 2023 NBA postseason, the Milwaukee Bucks were looked at as the favorites according to just about everybody. Coming off a dominant regular season in which they led the league in wins, even though they missed a lot of key contributors along the way due to injury, the Milwaukee Bucks look stronger than ever coming into the playoffs. Knowing that Giannis Antetokounmpo will eventually finish third in the MVP race, even though he probably was even better than that, the Milwaukee Bucks look like the people that you had to get through if you wanted to win a championship. And with all that on the line, they lose in 5 games to the Miami Heat in the first round. When it comes to polar opposite, it doesn't get more polar opposite than being the wide renowned contender in the East that then turns on its head and loses in 5 games to a Miami Heat team who was even struggling to stay above 500 the whole year. I understand the Heat are in the conference finals now, but you do not understand how embarrassing this is for not only the Milwaukee Bucks, but for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Being dubbed as the best player in the league is a great thing. There's no doubt about that. But when you are now on the front lines of a lot of memes and hate, you know you did something wrong. And not only did Giannis lose, but he kind of disrespectfully lost. The next day, he said that there's no such thing as failure in sports, although he was completely contradicting himself right now, just a couple years ago, back when he said he needed to do more to win an NBA championship and it is not acceptable to lose in certain rounds. But today, in this video, I will tell you the 3 big reasons why the Milwaukee Bucks failed in the postseason this year. Let's get straight into it. So in my opinion, the first and the biggest reason for the Milwaukee Bucks' collapse is the Khris Middleton injury. Khris Middleton this season missed 32 games of the Milwaukee Bucks regular season. Khris Middleton's injury had a nagging effect on the Bucks' ability to win games. More importantly, win close games against good teams. When they played the Sixers, they lost. When they played the Boston Celtics in the regular season, they lost by 40. And at home, I'm pretty sure. And this is not just because of Khris Middleton's injury, but the fact that Khris Middleton brings so much to this team and was mainly the only reason why they won a championship in 2021. With all due respect, I know how dominant Giannis was in 2021 and his ability to carry that Bucks team at times, but if Khris Middleton was not as effective as he was in 2021, he would have never won a championship. Khris Middleton ended the season averaging 15 points on 43% from the field and 31% from the three-point line, totaling a 55% true shooting percentage in the regular season. Now, while his counterpart Giannis Antetokounmpo wasn't too much more efficient than Khris Middleton, Khris Middleton's inability to play for this team held back the Bucks. As we know with playoff teams and as we saw with the Suns, chemistry is a big thing in the playoffs. That is a big reason why the Denver Nuggets are winning right now, and same are the Los Angeles Lakers. Their best players have great chemistry. LeBron and Anthony Davis and all the top 5 players on the Denver Nuggets. It is no coincidence that they are winning, and it is no coincidence that the Celtics are winning and the Heat are winning. Chemistry is vital to your team's success. And when you are playing most of your games without one of the best players on your team, you're definitely going to feel the side effects. And that chemistry takes me into my second point, that lack of chemistry through a shoe and everything. Because the big 3 of Middleton, Giannis, and Jrue only played 5 games together all of the regular season. While you see other contenders playing most of their games together with all their star players on the court at all times like the Denver Nuggets and the Boston Celtics, the Milwaukee Bucks just didn't have enough run with this squad. Let's take a look back at the Brooklyn Nets when they had the big 3 of James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and Kevin Durant. Remember how highly touted that team was to go win a championship on their first year of being together and potentially be a dynasty if they stuck together for a few more years? Well, yeah, you know what killed them in the playoffs besides injuries was their chemistry. They had no chemistry going in the playoffs. Even though in the first round they dominated, it was expected. In the second round, when they needed chemistry, Kevin Durant just didn't know his players well enough to get past that round by himself. Then the following year, they still weren't good enough. Not because Kyrie and KD weren't on the same wavelength, because they were, but because their role players and their depth was so not in the loop that it lost them the series. They'd have a guy like Bruce Brown or Jeff Green go off for 20-some in a playoff game, but at the end of the day, who knew where the ball was going when Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving were not on the court? There simply wasn't enough chemistry. And for the third and probably biggest reason is rim defense. When it comes to rim defense, when the Bucks started the season, they were allowing around 62% of shots to go in at the rim, which was one of the best marks in the NBA. But all of a sudden, closer to the end of the season, when they're starting to lose against juggernauts like the Celtics and big teams like the Sixers, their rim defense hits the wall. 68% allowed field goal percentage in the paint is unbelievable. For a guy like Brook Lopez, who for most of the season was a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, and a guy like Giannis Antetokounmpo, who won a Defensive Player of the Year just a few years back, it is unacceptable for their rim defense to be this terrible. Their rim defense eventually lost them the series. Who do we know Jimmy Butler as? We know him as a penetrator. He's not known for his jump shot outside of 15 feet. Anything deeper than 15 to 17 feet, Jimmy Butler struggles from shooting. And Jimmy Butler this series averaged 37.6 points per game, 6 rebounds, and 5 assists on 67% true shooting percentage. And a main reason of that was his ability to penetrate without any consequences. Brook Lopez and Giannis Antetokounmpo simply were not locking down the paint like they were in their regular season versions when they were a dominant team. That rim defense lost them the series. How do the Milwaukee Bucks bounce back from this? Unfortunately, I don't know. They just fired their coach, Mike Budenholzer, who I never thought was too great of a coach, but I think he was solid enough, and I don't think there's any good head coaches on the market right now. Are you going to go sign Doc Rivers, who just got cut as well? I think that would be a terrible decision. So to me, I don't know how they rebound. They are so locked into this roster. Giannis Antetokounmpo needs to show up in the playoffs. Even though he did win that one ring, he hasn't been that guy in the playoffs for a reason. And yeah, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and I'll see y'all later. Peace out.
Hey, come on, I got a bag on me. You try to take it, leave you stinking like your last homie. She kinda cakey, little baby, put that ass on me. But I ain't that horny, do you got some cash for me? Why every time you ask him that, bitches act funny. And you keep trying to hold the strap, you won't slap for me. You too happy, I can tell you never had money. Every time you get on live, gotta flash money.